Hey, what's up guys, it's Dynamite here, I hope you're doing well. And so at the time I'm recording this, we've literally got 2 days left of the Chapter 2 Remix season, so I thought now's a good time to do a review of the season, because it is pretty much over, there's no new content besides the event. And let me just start by saying, I have actually really enjoyed this season. As someone who really didn't enjoy Chapter 5, to be honest, I kind of stopped playing the game during Chapter 5. I did play a bit of Reload, but I really didn't like the main game for a number of issues. Coming back in Chapter 2 Remix, it feels like a return to form for Fortnite. It really just feels like what the game should have been all along, and I'm really enjoying it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the good things about Chapter 2 Remix and also some of the bad things, and I'll give my final rating of the season. If you guys do enjoy the Fortnite discussion videos, I'd appreciate you guys drop a like on the video, subscribing, turn on post notifications. I really would appreciate you guys subscribing, because I'm literally like 20 something off 1,000. Once I hit 1,000, I'm going to try get my creator code and I'm start multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube, so I'd appreciate you guys subscribing. And yeah, let's get into it. So let's start off with the good things. So one of the things I do like about Chapter 2 Remix is the guns. I mean, it's a very simple loot pool. You got the AR, you got the SCAR, you got the pump, you got the TAC. It's just guns we know and love, where Chapter 5, I feel like it was too complicated with the attachments and the bullet drop. Chapter 2 is just so simple, man. It's the same with Chapter 1. You just have, like, the standard AI. You don't have any, like, crazy, like, recoil or you know, attachments, and you don't have to take bullet drop into account. You have hit scan. It just feels so good, man. I just love the guns. I feel like they should have never went away from this, because all the guns, I'm gonna be real, the majority of the guns in Chapter 5 just didn't feel good. So the guns this season, they just feel so nice, and I can't wait to use them again in OG next season. Another thing I liked was, of course, the map. As you guys probably know if you watched the channel before, one of my favourite maps of all time is the early Chapter 2 map. I think near the end, around like Season 6, the map got kind of bad. But the early Chapter 2 map, I'm talking like Chapter 2 Season 2, in my opinion, is peak. There's just so many memorable POIs. I love landing the agency. I used to, in the tournaments, I go to, you know, that junkyard near Dirty Docks. That's my landing spot for tournaments. It was nostalgic going back there. Misty Meadows, Lazy Lake. It's just so nice having these POIs back. I really love the map. And the POIs, they actually feel memorable, unlike Chapter 5. The only Chapter 5 POI I can really, like, remember and say it was a good POI was Mount Olympus. And that's because I thought it looked really cool. Another thing I really liked about the season as well was the art style. So, like I said before, I know I keep shitting on Chapter 5, but I really didn't like the Chapter 5 art style. It looked too realistic. They're trying to go like full PUBG mode or something with it. Where Chapter 2 it's a mix of like cartoony, like Chapter 1-esque, and then it's got a tiny mix of realism. It's more on the cartoony side, but I really do like it. I think it blends well, and it is perfect. I do like the Chapter 2 art style. Like I said, it just feels like a return to form. It feels like what Fortnite should have been during Chapter 5, and they just went too far away from this. Chapter 2, it's like, oh, we're back, finally. Another thing I liked about the season as well was the gameplay mechanics. It's really simple, like I said. Chapter 5, I'm going to keep talking bad about Chapter 5 because I did not like it. It was way too complicated. You had the weapon attachments, you had like the medallions, you had all these just too complicated mechanics. You had the weapon bunkers, you had to take in, like I said, there was no hit scan weapons, there was bullet drop. The mechanics were just too complicated in Chapter 5. I just didn't like it. Where Chapter 2 and Chapter 1, well, literally pretty much any like chapter before, I'd say Chapter 5 really, you just pick up a gun and you shoot it. You don't have to like get all the attachments. There's no loot island. I do like the loot island, but it's just so simple. Like I said, it's just what Fortnite should be. Another thing I really liked about the season as well was the mythics. Chapter 2 mythics are some of the most memorable mythics in Fortnite history, and they actually feel good. Recent mythics, even like Chapter 3, 4, 5 mythics, really just aren't that memorable, where Chapter 2, when you think of mythic guns, you think of the Midas drum gun, Sky Scar assault rifle, and yeah, they are a bit different. Obviously, you got like the rappers at those POIs now, but they do feel pretty much the same, and they feel really good. I do like these mythics. Another thing I really liked about the season as well is the weekly changes. Yeah, they're just recycling old content and bring back old POIs from Chapter 2 Season 2. But it feels refreshing. Like 1 week we got the grotto, then we got the shark, then we got Juice WRLD's POI. It actually feels really refreshing. And obviously they changed the loot pool. They added back the hunting rifle, the TAC AR, which is also really OP now, by the way. Every change, well, every week it just feels so refreshing. And the last thing I really liked about the season was it feels like an actual remix and it lives up to the name. So what I mean by that is last year it kind of felt like they were just copying and pasting Chapter 1 and just recycling it. This season, it actually feels like they brought back Chapter 2, but they've remixed it. You know, there's something new in there, which, of course, they have done. The new POIs with Snoop Dogg, Ice Spice, Eminem, Juice WRLD, it feels like an actual remix, and the loot isn't 100% accurate as well. There's a few guns which weren't in Chapter 2, like, for example, the TAC AR, which wasn't in Chapter 2 for the most part. That's in Chapter 2 now, same with the Slurp Juice and the Chug Jug. It feels like an actual remix instead of just copying and pasting Chapter 2 Season 2, which I actually really like. Now we gotta get into the bad things, I'm afraid, and there isn't actually a lot of bad things, and I don't think they're too important. They haven't really ruined the season for me, but we are gonna talk about them. This is my first complaint about the season, so I did not like the Ice Spice POI. This is subjective, I know, and it is just my personal opinion. But I think there was a million other people you could put the shark. Because the annoying thing as well, the shark was my landing spot in Chapter 2 Season 2. In all the tournaments, I would go there, I'd say, oh, screw it, and I'd go there, get the Mythic and the Grappler, and I just destroy the whole lobby. I can't do that now, because every time you go there, it's like blasting Ice Spice music, and I don't like Ice Spice. Why is she at the shark? And I know there's a bunch of like 10-year-olds out there who do like Ice Spice, but I've seen other people talk about it too. Why is Ice Spice got to be there? And she just feels so out of place this season. You got Eminem, you got Snoop Dogg. They should have put in like Dr. Dre or something. Ice Spice just feels so out of place, especially with all these big names like Eminem, Snoop Dogg, and Juice WRLD. Like, why is she there? Who invited? Bro thinks she's on the team. Another bad thing is the cars. I don't like the cars. For the whole of Chapter 5, I was complaining about the cars. Like, the moment you shoot somebody in zero build, they just hop in a car and drive away. I just don't like that style of gameplay. I really don't. Even back in Chapter 2, the main reason people use cars was for rotation. Now it feels like people are using cars to push people, and they're just using them to run away from gunfights. I really just don't like it, and I feel like they should nerf the speed of the cars. Yeah, they're not as bad as what they were in Chapter 5, obviously, when they had all the attachments and everything. But I don't know, I just don't like the cars, and it kind of just ruins zero build for me, to be honest. This isn't really a bad thing to do this season specifically, but I feel like the Chapter 2 map is a little bit too big. Obviously, they haven't changed like the size or anything this season. It's 100% accurate to what it was back in Chapter 2. But going back kind of reminds me of just how boring the mid-game is on this map. It feels like in the mid-game, unless you're like in Salty Springs or the Agency, it's so rough to find people. You really cannot find anybody in the mid-game. And it kind of just, because I remember people saying back in Chapter 2 they should increase the player count, and going back to it, I really think they should have put the player count to 120, so this isn't really a complaint to do with this season specifically, but I feel like the map is a little bit too big. And my last complaint regarding Chapter 2 Remix is, of course, you know I was going to talk about it, skill-based matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking for 5 years now has been so annoying in this game. For me, it's like I win one game with maybe 10 kills, and then I'm thrown into FNCS lobbies with all superhero skins, and it's just not for me, man. I shouldn't have to keep hopping between modes. Like, if I get one win in zero build, and then my lobbies get ruined, and then I get put up against pro players, I have to go into reload, get a win there, then my lobbies are ruined there. I have to keep hopping between modes to manipulate the skill base, and I just really don't think I should have to do that. This is another complaint. It's not really specific to this season, but it has kind of just tarnished the experience for me. It hasn't ruined it by a lot, but it's just kind of annoying to deal with. Overall, though, I have enjoyed this season. This season, in my opinion, is the best season in a year, I'd say, since the last OG season. The only season I really liked from Chapter 5 was the first season, and even that I didn't really enjoy. That's when I stopped playing the game. But it feels like I said, it feels like a return to form for this game. It feels like what the game should be. I just like it, man. It feels like Fortnite. I don't think it's as good as last year's OG season. I just think Chapter 1's always going to be superior to Chapter 2. I'd put both the chapters in S tier, but Chapter 1 is always going to be better than Chapter 2. Overall, though, I'm going to give Chapter 2 Remix an 8 out of 10. I've really enjoyed this season, playing with all my friends. Me and my friend have been doing some tournaments as well. I have really enjoyed the season. I'm in love with the game again. I'm actually excited for Chapter 6 as well. I'm excited to play OG as well when that comes back on December 6th. That's probably what I'll be focusing on, to be honest, because if Chapter 6 is anything like Chapter 5, I probably won't be playing it for too long. So I'm looking forward to OG. But yeah, I have really enjoyed this season, though. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Comment below, what would you rate Chapter 2 Remix? Like I said, I've really enjoyed this season. But yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.